Ooh, it's dark in here.
It's dark in here.
Yeah. Good morning. Today we're at Walter Reed. It's about 8:50 in the morning. In the morning. There's Tyler. Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, we have. Where are we going today?
Today.
Where are we?
We're going to the park.
No, we're not at the park. We are at the
Doctor.
We're at the doctor.
Bye.
Today we're gonna see Audiology, and we're also going to see Endocrinology. Tyler has yet to see endo. We have noticed that his labs have been rising a little, so we just want to get established with them. Thyroid issues are common in kids with Williams. They tend to be hypo, so we just want to make sure that we're not heading down that path, and if we are, we want to try to correct it now. So that's what we're doing today. We have a busy morning, right Ty? Busy morning.
Busy morning.
But it's gonna be good.
So bye.
Where are we?
Hi.
Are we at the doctor?
Yeah, doctor.
What are we waiting for? The doctor? Yay!
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.
So we are here. We're just waiting on the doctor to come in. Tyler, look. Can you say hi?
Hi.
What are we doing?
What are you doing?
We're waiting for the doc.
I'm at the clock.
This is our first time at endo.
Window.
Say, can you say endocrinology?
Endocrinology.
Great job.
Oh, bye.
Bye already?
I'm ready.
Hopefully, they'll just want to monitor him, and we'll go from there. We'll see what they say, huh? Okay. Say bye for now.
Bye.
Good morning. So today I'm going to be doing an update about Tyler. If you watched our last video, you know that Brittany did an update on Cora and her appointment that she had, which was a big one. If you haven't, go watch that now. Very hopeful, exciting things happening in the future for the blind community. But today, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about what Tyler's been through the last couple months. So last month we saw Nephrology, and if you don't know what nephrology is, that is the kidney specialist. And those with Williams syndrome, getting repetitive here, you know that they tend to have kidney abnormalities. Thankfully, Tyler hasn't had any major issues with his kidneys as of yet. Hopefully we continue on that path. He does have some calcium deposits in his kidneys. That's very common. It's called nephrocalcinosis, and that showed on his very first kidney ultrasound. I think he was about 1 at the time. Since then, he hasn't developed any new ones. They've actually gotten a little bit better. They won't go away, but they can get worse, so we're glad that he hasn't developed any more. And we just flush him with a lot of fluids, a lot of water, just to kind of keep his kidneys functioning well, and just cleaning out anything that's kind of sitting in there. Every 6 months, we get labs done, blood work on him to test his kidney function, test his high blood calcium. It's very common, kids with Williams, to have high blood calcium. Once a year, he gets a kidney ultrasound. He had his ultrasound and things looked very well. I'll insert a picture of him as we were waiting. As long as he has his iPad, he kind of just chills out. He's always been pretty good with his scans. The only issue we had was after heart surgery, he had a little bit of PTSD. We were having issues getting his heart echo. He did very well during his kidney ultrasound, and his kidney ultrasound showed no changes. He still has the same calcium deposits, not any new ones. Everything looked very good from the scan, and we're very thankful for that. Obviously, we don't want to have any other issues pop up. We don't want him to have any stones or anything like that. He did have to get his blood drawn. I hate blood draws. As I'm sure any parent out there that has to have their kids have their labs drawn, it's very difficult. And I thought that the older he got, the easier it would be, and I was wrong. The older he gets, the harder it gets. He is longer, heavier, and stronger. It's horrible for me. When I can have my husband take him, I I talk my husband into it. It's terrible because he can talk now and he quite doesn't understand why I'm putting him through this. And I sit down, he sits on my lap, I bear hug him, I have to wrap my legs around his legs, and he's just looking up at me like, Mom, why aren't you helping me? Why aren't you helping me? And he's crying, all done, help me, help me. It's terrible. You do not want to watch your kids go through that, but we know it's necessary, and we try to tell him that it's temporary, it's quick, this too shall pass. We did get his labs back, and everything looked great, as they have been. We're so blessed for that. He does have high blood calcium. It's still within that normal for kids. It's always that borderline high. So the good thing is it's not rising. It's always been kind of stable at that mark. Again, I think that us just flushing him with water and keeping a low calcium diet has really helped maintain those blood calcium levels. So nephrology, we will again run labs in 6 months. We will have another kidney ultrasound in a year. And if no new issues pop up, then we are good to wait that out. And that's amazing. The older he gets, the longer we hope that we can go in between appointments. And those are that's the hope that we have moving forward, that, you know, the longer we have to go without seeing these specialists, the healthier he's getting. Monday, today is Wednesday. Monday, we saw Audiology, and we also saw Endocrinology. Audiology has been fine as well. Those with Williams syndrome tend to have hyperacusis, and that is sensitive hearing. If you've been following us for a while, you know that Tyler has very sensitive hearing when it comes to certain pitches. He is terrified of the lawnmowers. With that hyperacusis comes hearing loss. So we follow up with Audiology, and we do our yearly checks to make sure that he's not heading down that path of losing some of his hearing. He had a very good appointment, as he normally does. Again, I can say it 100 times, we were very blessed. He did great during his hearing test. He loved watching all of the toys in the corner light up and make noises, and there was a little puppy dog, and he wanted to take it so badly. He kept saying, it's my dog, but he did very well. The structure of his ear inside looked amazing. He has very, very good hearing. So hopefully we can continue down that road, and it will hopefully only get better and not worse. So that was a very quick appointment. It took about 15 minutes, and the only thing that came out of that is that we learned that Tyler has selective hearing. Everything else looks amazing, and that's just one more thing that I don't have to worry about until next year. After Audiology, we went upstairs to Endocrinology. Endocrinology was a little different for us because it was our first appointment with them. We have never been seen by Endo as of yet. He's 4 years old. When we first got diagnosed, our nephrologist, who is our kidney doctor, she put in his thyroid labs, and they've always come back on the good side. So we've never really needed to get established with endocrinology. It was just one of those things that we felt like if there wasn't an issue, why add another specialty doctor? Why put him through another appointment? Why add another tab in my binder at this point if it wasn't necessary? So I would say over the last year or so, we watched his thyroid numbers rise a little, and I was concerned. The nephrologist did not seem concerned. I know that our nephrologist reached out to the pediatric endocrinologist and just kind of presented the case, showed him the labs. They responded back to him and said that they were a little high, but they were still within normal for his age, and until we really see him past that that threshold of where they want to see his numbers at for his age, that it wasn't necessary to follow up with them, just to continue to monitor. And he didn't really have any symptoms. So I would say by our next lab draw, they were up a little bit more. I brought it up again. They still didn't seem concerned. He wasn't showing any new symptoms as far as his thyroid goes, other than him just being a little bit more tired than he normally is. He has a lot of energy, but he was telling us, I'm so tired, I'm so sleepy. He would have days where he would real tears cry because he wanted to go to bed after an hour waking up from his nap. And I brought it up to his therapist. His therapist kind of noticed the same thing, that he was getting a little bit more tired. Brought it up to his PCM. His PCM reviewed his past couple thyroid lab draws and said, let's keep an eye on it. So fast forward to our last lab draw, which was last month, and they rised again. So I called his PCM. I said, look, I know that they're not concerned, but I'm seeing this consistent rise in these lab draws. I don't want to miss anything. We have yet to be established with endocrinology. I think it's time to, if anything, just meet them, have a consult with them. So that way, if we are heading down this path or we do need to intervene, then he's already established. We don't have to worry about rushing around to get a referral. And they can tell me what other symptoms to look for. I have thyroid issues myself, but I don't know when it comes to pediatrics if it's the same type of symptoms that I have that I need to be watching in him. I just don't want to miss anything. So she agreed. She thought it was time as well, and we got a referral. We saw endo, and the appointment went very well. Reviewed his labs. They brought up some things that I didn't even know were or could be issues in those with Williams syndrome. They did agree that his labs looked a little high. They did not think that we needed to put him through another lab draw since they just had him done last month, and the chances of them changing within 4 weeks weren't going to be very high. So they agreed that we would run labs in a couple months, give it time to do its thing. I know it can take time for your thyroid gland to let out those hormones and show in your labs. Let me rewind. So those with Williams tend to be hypo. They tend to produce too much of that. It can make you sluggish and tired, hair loss, dry skin, just make you feel so icky. And those with Williams as well tend to go through puberty a little bit earlier. I was told that the average boy will hit puberty around 8 or 9 years old. The issue with that is if they're growing too quickly, they told me that their growth plates can kind of fuse together. We don't want that to happen, so it's just something that we're going to monitor. They also told me that those with Williams syndrome have a lower bone density. In all of the research that I've done over the last 4 years, I never came across this until she told me that. I went home and I did my own research, and I saw that yes, that is something that is common, but mostly in adults with Williams syndrome. So eventually we will get a bone density scan. I don't think it's necessary at this point because he is so young, but she's gonna get back to me and see at what age they recommend doing that scan. So going back to the labs, I have Hashimoto's. During his next round of labs, they want to throw in that antibody test for him just to rule out that he doesn't have an autoimmune disease like me. They did say that that can be genetic. On top of him, we know that he's at higher risk for thyroid issues. We just want to make sure that that's not something else on top of it that we have to monitor. But again, they were okay with waiting a couple months so that we didn't have to prick him again, which I'm okay with as well. Other than just him telling us that he's a little bit more tired, that's the only symptom that I have noticed that might be affected by his thyroid. And again, his labs weren't to the point where we were super concerned that he needed to be medicated right away. But I just saw them slowly rising, and I wanted to be ahead of the game. I wanted to get established so that that way, if we do hit that part in our road, then we'll be ready to go. And I didn't know a bunch of this other stuff, so I learned a little bit yesterday. Usually I'm the one teaching them, which is crazy because this is my child and I'm coming to you for help, but you're telling me you're learning from me. This might be boring to you. You know, it's boring, but it's good because that means that nothing new has popped up with Tyler. We love to hear that things are good. We love to hear we'll see you back in a year. Going from having appointments every 3 months to every year is just another victory for us. It's amazing that we don't feel the need that he needs to be monitored as closely. So that's kind of where we're at as far as his specialty updates go. We see ophthalmology next month, so I will keep you guys updated with that. We don't see cardio until December, so that'll be a while, but they did run his blood pressure check at Nephrology and when we went on Monday, and his blood pressure looked amazing, and I love hearing that because I would say he had heart surgery in 2018 and every single blood draw prior to that was always high, and that's so scary when you're looking at your little baby and you know something's going on in there to affect their blood pressure, and obviously it was his heart. Every single time that we hear that his blood pressure is great is such a win for us. We know that his heart is functioning the way that it should be, and Tyler had a lot of PTSD from heart surgery, and let me tell you, I have a lot of anxiety and PTSD from it as well. But things are going really well for him, and I think every parent out there can agree that all they want is a healthy child, and it's been a long time that I can say that I think that Tyler is the healthiest he's been in a very long time, and that makes us so happy. I feel like a lot of weight gets lifted off after these appointments because I know that we're heading in the right direction. We're not going backwards, and that is all that I want. Stay tuned for our next video. I think it's gonna be a Q&A with the husbands. Don't quote me, but I think that's, we're gonna be getting together very soon, which I'm excited about. So I think that's what our next video is gonna be. You get to meet them and you'll get to ask them questions and go from there. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.